Got a gavel.
Yeah, gavel. I call the meeting to order. So, welcome, public. We got two people that are outside of our group. And Marlin, what do you know?
Marlin's going to give an update.
Okay, he's on mute. Did he choose to be on mute or?
I just didn't need it.
All right. So, first things first, I was wondering if there's a motion regarding the March 9th work session meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, just as a matter of protocol, because we're not because we're on television, when the board votes, it should be by roll call.
Okay. All right. Now, how are we going to handle the March 9th minutes? We had a brief discussion. So let's go ahead and prove it.
Yeah, you'll have to, yeah.
There'll be no approving the minutes.
Right.
It'll be, they'll just go in as written.
Okay. This was prior to the change in the board. Okay. We also have the March 9th regular, okay, as written. And the March 16th, 2020 work session meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, just finished reading.
Okay. So John moved, Zach seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh,
Roll
crap.
call.
Oh, roll.
So,
Roll call.
Mary Ann?
Yeah. Marianne says aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. Okay, the minutes pass. Announcements. The select board will meet on the following dates. We'll have a regular meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday, April 13th and Monday, April 27th. All work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. All of the above meetings will be held in the town hall unless otherwise posted. Citizens wishing to be listed on the select board's agenda should notify the town hall before 12 p.m. the Friday before the scheduled meeting. And chairman's comments, I just a brief comment of thanking the town for putting up with our accommodations and the need of us to restrict the general public from entering in the town hall. And hopefully it won't be too long before we'll get it back to normal. But what we might retain is the ability for the townsmen or townspeople to get into our meetings through the software that we're going to be providing, which is Zoom. I think that might be a really good solution to carry that forward. Anyway, I hope everyone's well. Appointments. We have 4 appointments. The first one is Tom McGlauflin. He's requesting that he be reappointed to the zoning board. And does he have a letter requesting that, or?
Just a short email.
Okay, he requested it through a short email. Good. It'd be his pleasure to serve on the zoning board for another term. His 7th term on the board, over 20 years. He said he'd open it up for someone younger, but we don't have anyone younger taking the spot. So
Tom does an excellent job.
He does. Is that a motion, Neil, or?
Yeah, I move that we reappoint Tom McGlaughlin to the zoning board.
Okay. Is there a second?
That.
Okay. John seconds. Neil moves. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Do roll call again?
Oh, yes, we do. Yep. Mary Ann,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Bill, aye. This is tedious.
Your voice gets deep when you say I.
Aye. Well, sign that. All right. The second appointment, David Kent is requesting reappointment to the zoning board, and his email to be considered, pretty much straightforward. I wish to be reappointed. Please consider this message as my response, as I'm away from home. That's David Kent. Is there a motion?
I move that we reappoint David Kent to the zoning board.
Right, Neil moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Oh, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye, starting with Mary Ann.
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
It's still tedious. All right, the third appointment. Patrice Scott is requesting reappointment to the zoning board. Oh, excuse me, man, look out. And I'm going to read Patrice's letter that she sent in to request reappointment. Dear Bill, John, Neil, Mary Ann, and Zach, congratulations on the recent election. I wish the newly constituted board a smooth and orderly transition. I would be willing to continue serving on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, where I have served as chairman since my original appointment as an alternate in April 2011. I previously served the town in various capacities over the year, including as a member of the Advisory Budget Committee from '99 to 2003, Plymouth Housing Study Committee, 2003, Nonprofit Review Subcommittee, fall of 2005, Board of Selectmen from 2006 to 2009, and PSU's Community Relations Task Force from 2010 to 2013. Thank you for your consideration and the opportunity to continue serving the community in this capacity. Please know that I am happy to step aside at any time to give new community members the same opportunity. I would also be happy to train new members and alternates in a volunteer capacity. Yours, very truly yours, Patrice Scott. So, therefore, is there a motion
So
to
moved.
reappoint Patrice to the
Second.
zoning board? Jesus, let me read it. So, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, starting with Mary Ann?
Aye.
Say aye, excuse me. Zach?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. The ayes have it. Congratulations.
Question.
Yep.
How many people are on the zoning board?
Something like 7?
I think so.
5.
There's
There's
5.
5? On the zoning board.
Do we have a select board representative on the zoning board? No.
All right. We have a request to be put on the planning board by Carl Evans, which is good news. So Carl did prepare an email requesting this. Unfortunately, it throws me under the bus, but hello, Angela. I have not seen you recently, but under the circumstances of the partial quarantine, that isn't surprising. Bill Bolton suggested I contact you to arrange to be put on the agenda for the next select board meeting to ask for appointment to the planning board. As I understand it, the select board meetings are still technically open to the public, but attendance is to be kept to a minimum. So that my request on the agenda might suffice rather than my physical appearance at the meeting. Is that correct? Regardless, I guess Angela got back to him saying that he doesn't have to be in attendance. And is there a motion to appoint Carl Evans to the planning board? Yeah.
I move that we appoint Carl Evans to the planning board.
Okay, Neil moved. Is there a second? Zach seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, starting with Mary Ann, say aye.
Aye.
I didn't want to put words in your mouth, but Zach? Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Bill? Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, so therefore the ayes have it. Thank you, Carl. Okay.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You have a public hearing that starts at 6:15.
It's a public hearing.
Just say something.
Neil sign that? Did you sign that? Is there a public hearing?
Mhm.
Maybe.
It's about that.
Okay.
Is there a public hearing on there, Kathy, at 6:15? What? Mhm. So we did post, may I please? We did post a public hearing for the acceptance of funds from our insurance company due to damage at the recycling center. We will be getting money in to cover a new baler, and we will be getting money in to replace parts and part of the equipment for the skid steer. Yes. So I don't have the information right in front of me. I thought we had posted it though as a public hearing. So what I would need is the board to open a public hearing, 6:15, take public comment, and I will go and get the amount that we're actually coming in. The reason that we're having a public hearing for this is so that we can actually raise the budget by that amount so that we can fix these two pieces of equipment.
And the money's coming from?
The money's coming from the insurance company, less our $1,000 deductible.
Okay. All right. Well then, what time is it? It's probably 6:14 right now. 6:14. Close enough. Enough. It's 6:15. I'm opening a public hearing to increase our budget by an amount to be determined.
The RSA.
Oh. So the public hearing is to allow the Town of Plymouth Board of Selectmen to, pursuant to RSA 31:95-B, which allows for the acceptance of unanticipated funds to be accepted and spent. The amount of funds that will be received is $18,021.71 from New Hampshire Primex Insurance for damage to the recycling skid steer and baler. And as Ann mentioned prior to me opening the hearing, there's also a $1,000 deductible from with our insurance company. And anyway, I think we got it.
You got it?
Well, it's Zach said it was
Get off the
posted.
webpage.
So, do we need a description of it, or just is anyone in favor of
So
accepting monies?
did you open your public hearing?
I did.
No comment from anyone? Close your public hearing.
Well, is there any comment?
I would support it, Mr. Chairman. Patrice Scott.
Thank you. Is there any in opposition? Anyone in opposition?
Should I unmute Marlin just in case he wants to?
Oh,
comment?
yeah. I thought he was unmuted.
No, he wasn't.
I think he probably muted himself.
There he is.
I'm unmuted now. I would support this as well, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anyone in opposition? Anyone of neutral opinion? Therefore, it is 6:16. I'm closing the public hearing and bringing it back to the board. And
So
therefore,
the motion should be in pursuant to RSA 3195-B, accepting and allowing for the expenditures of $18,021.71 from New Hampshire Primex Insurance for damage to the recycling skid steer and baler.
okay. And describe the motion that someone should make. Anyone that might want to say so moved?
So moved.
Okay, John.
Seconded?
John made the motion. Zach seconded it. So any discussion? All those in favor say aye, starting with Mary Ann.
Aye.
Again, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I'm
Used to it.
Zach.
Aye.
Neil.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Bill. Aye. Nice to have it.
This is a purchase order to spend those funds.
Yeah.
Which is separate?
No, that's included. It's I mean,
Is part of the
we are now,
conversation or is this separate?
it's the broken baler.
So the purchase order that you have in front of you, Jesse from the recycling here, is to ask, we already have the funds, I believe, or we will be getting the funds shortly to get that baler replaced. So he's asking to expend $12,200. That was the estimate that we received to replace it. If the insurance company, if the price changes at all, the insurance company is willing to work with us to get that fixed.
So this is the PO that needs to be signed as a result of the public hearing that we just allowed the money to.
Yes, please.
Quick question, is the skid steer, is that?
It'll
the
be a
cost of
separate
that
purchase
It'll be
order.
a separate person with the balance of that $18,000 that we just discussed.
Yes.
So we expect that to be something in the realm of $6,000.
Yeah, around that, yep. You good?
Oh, how you doing, Jesse? It's nice to see that Matt's back. But it's nice to see that Matt is back. Okay, so that concludes Jesse's item and the public hearing. So next we have is a PSU update by Marlin, Collingwood.
Good evening, folks. We, as most of you know, we've been engaged in working hard to keep our students safe and our faculty and staff safe. As of around noon today, we have probably about 100 students that are still residing on campus. We're working hard to help students find their way home, pack up their rooms. We anticipate by Wednesday or Thursday there should probably be about 40 or 50 students who have nowhere else to go, nowhere else safe to go, who will be staying at Plymouth State for the foreseeable future. And at that point, we'll be working to make sure that they receive all the services that they need. The system, the University System of New Hampshire, announced last week that our in-person classes will not resume for the remainder of this academic year. So all students are working remotely at this point. We still are working hard to get all of our classes online for remote learning. That's going well. We are seeing a marked increase in off-campus students leaving town and heading back to their homes. I did have a call last Thursday, I guess it was, with the off-campus landlords to kind of see what they might need from us. And I have another outreach to them scheduled for later this week. In addition to all of that, we've been working very closely with Angel Ekstrom and the Regional Healthcare Group and the Governor's Office and Spear Hospital to ready some of our buildings to make them available for whatever needs might come up related to COVID-19. Those talks are happening all the time. We did walkthroughs of several buildings yesterday. We have been working closely with the Governor's Office and the State Department of Health and Human Resources. And then once we have determined how many students we have remaining, we will be moving those students into one residence hall, which will allow us to have additional campus buildings that might be available for the state, the county, or the town as we move forward in the current situation.
Very good. That's great. So the dining hall is going to remain open?
The dining hall is open now. All of our buildings are closed to the public now. That happened last Monday. So you must have a student, faculty or staff or student ID to get into any of our buildings. Community members are not permitted in any of our buildings, including Lamson Library at this point. Dining hall is now working as per the governor's order. They're doing takeout only for our students. And again, we're servicing right now and feeding probably 75 students, and that number is decreasing nearly every hour.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thanks, Marlin.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a question?
Yes.
Marlin, USNH announced that the spring classes aren't going to start up, regular students aren't going to start till the fall. Does that mean all the summer programs and any of the summer community stuff is also officially canceled at this point, or is that still?
It's not officially canceled at this point. We are working literally to kind of answer the questions that we have to answer day by day. But all on campus and events, both community events that might have been using our facilities and all student events are canceled through the end of the academic year, which would be in May. We haven't made any decision yet on commencements. We anticipate, we're working with the class of 2020 and the Board of Trustees. We anticipate that we're going to work together to find an appropriate time and place at some point in the future for us to recognize the achievements of the graduates and graduate school students and undergraduate school students who are graduating this year.
So that is the university's intent to do a deferred commencement?
We haven't made any announcement yet, but our goal is that we're going to find the right time and place. I don't know when that will be.
Any other questions or comments?
Actually, I have a second one.
Go ahead.
Once Angel and the regional folks get through readying the buildings, do we have any idea what sort of capacity numbers we would be talking about in the halls?
Yeah, there was a conversation, a conference call today at 1 o'clock with town folks, with the regional folks, PSU, Spear, and I think all of that is to be determined in the coming days through the Department of Health and Human Services.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marlon.
Thank you all. I'm going to sign off.
All right. Take care. Okay. So next order of business, Anna Baer. Authorization.
Okay. So Since 1986, the town of Plymouth has been holding an account from CDFA, Community Development Finance Authority, for funds that at one point were used or could be loaned to small businesses to start up businesses. They were supposed to be for loans only. Part of that was administrative fees for the town so that we would get funding. So that fund was never closed out.
Okay.
And at the recommendation of the auditor, because we have actually contacted CDFA and said we have this additional money, they have told us at this time there's no reporting on it. It's that old. So we actually want to take those funds now and say that they are Town of Plymouth funds. So currently in that fund, we have $21,326.85. We'd like to turn that over as unanticipated revenue for the Town of Plymouth for the 1920 year. I just need a vote of the board if you would authorize us to do that.
Okay, so do you want a motion to authorize the closing of the account and transferring the money to the general fund based on the fact that CDFA has indicated there's no longer any reporting requirement?
Yes.
Is there a motion? Do so.
So move.
Is there a second? John moved it.
Second.
Neil seconded. All
Question.
okay. Yeah.
Unlike the insurance, we don't have to have a hearing on accepting this money because it's already in one of our accounts?
No, we don't have to accept this because we're not asking to allow us to expend it. We're only accepting it as a revenue.
Okay, so
Okay.
because we're not expending it, we don't have to have a hearing.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other input? Any other comments or discussion? Where's Mary Ann?
We lost her. Oh, she's back.
There she is.
Hey,
Hey, sorry, my phone died.
I thought you plugged it in.
I did plug it in, but for whatever, I don't know, this new technology.
So I'm not sure when you cut out, but we're
Marlin.
Marlin was giving his update.
all right. Do you want to briefly?
So Mary Ann, what we have is we have funds from that the town received in 1986, which was to be used for loans to businesses in town. And part of that money was also supposed to be used for administrative fees for the town, and the town never took their fees. So this now has grown from $8,000 to $21,326.85. And my request to the board was to take those funds and move them into the town funds as general revenues.
I shouldn't be able to. I muted myself, but I don't even know where they are now.
Hey, Marlin, we're still here.
I know I have one. I have to get it. It's in the closet.
Uh-oh. Let's
Shut him
see if we
off.
can boot him.
I restart.
All right, so John, you made the motion, right?
Neil seconded it. Neil.
Zach seconded? Oh, Neil seconded, excuse me. So John made a motion to accept those funds as revenue, and Neil seconded, and we're discussing.
Okay.
And I guess I'm seeking now,
Vote.
all those in favor say aye.
You didn't ask. Mary Ann?
Well, I didn't want to put words in your mouth again.
Ah, I see.
I looked at you, but I didn't say that. I didn't assume that you would say aye.
Mary Ann says aye.
Ask her if she's in favor.
Is Mary Ann in favor?
Yes.
Zach?
Hi.
Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. Still
Tough
tedious. All right. Very good. And Ann, you have another issue?
I do. You should all have in front of you a copy of the Federal Forest Protection Bureau Federal Excess Property Cooperative Agreement between the Town of Plymouth and the a director of the Division of Forest and Lands, Department of Natural Cultural Resources, State of New Hampshire. Basically, what we have is we have a trailer that is being used for forest fires. It's a 1959 red trailer is how it's described here. According to the fire department, they're still using it. So this is just another agreement being updated that we're using their equipment. There's no charge. We're not looking for any money. We agree to insure it. Just a motion and signatures to that.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the document. So the motion was to what?
The motion was to enter into the agreement between the State of New Hampshire Department of Natural and Cultural Resources and the town of Plymouth to continue to use the 1959 M100 Strickland red trailer, which is used for forestry.
All right. So that sounds like a pretty good motion. Would anybody like to make that?
So move.
Is there a set? Oh, John made the motion.
Second.
Neil seconded. Mary Ann, are
Aye.
you in favor?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. John?
Aye.
Or John?
Aye.
Neil?
Oh.
It doesn't matter. It's unanimous regardless. Okay, hey, Mary Ann, you get a kick out of this. The co-op agreement, the signature line, is for the mayor
You know I love that.
or city manager or chairman board of selectmen. So
I guess that's me out.
It all covered.
all righty. Need a witness? I guess I'll witness later. Okay. Next up, we have an update from the Emergency Management Director, Paul Freitas. What's that?
Good afternoon, Board of Selectmen.
Oh.
I'm used to having it the phone right next.
Is he getting, is
Sure. All set, Jules? All right.
hey, Paul.
I have sanitizers here. When I walked through the door, I saw you and Kathy shaking hands.
You already wiped with the,
All right. Good job. In the spirit of not wanting to be redundant, there's a lot on TV. So I want to try to stay away from the medical part of it. I can touch on it a little bit. And we have plenty of as seen on TV infomercials from the Board of Selectmen. Tom Morris, Chief Morrison, did one this morning. He's our health officer. So I'd like to get into some of the things that we can start to do to prepare for the future, not for the end. And I think there's some things that we forget to do. And again, this is my opinion, all right? My opinion from experience and training. It's only my opinion. And many times I find out that experience ends up being the actual thing that happens versus what we train for. And that's what's starting to happen in this case, because we've never had, any of us aren't old enough, even myself, to have trained for something at this level. But things very similar, so I just gonna bring that up. I don't wanna waste this point in time, and I'm glad we have Mary Ann here. Is she still up there? I can't really see her. Mary Ann, you're gonna be playing an important part as liaison to our businesses.
What?
And with that said, we prepare a lot for when businesses are going to close. We prepare a lot when businesses are closed. Historically, what I've seen is we hardly do any preparing on when businesses are going to open. And I'm going to use Mary Ann and her business as an example. We've lost a huge workforce in this town. Now is the time to prepare for when Mary Ann opens her business and all the other businesses on Main Street open their business. How are we going to come up with a workforce to fill those positions? We don't want to wait for Governor Sununu 5 days from now saying we can start opening businesses on Main Street. I'd like to be positive and think it would be 5 days, maybe not, but you know, we're 8 days into the 15-day window that the country was put in to try to get rid of that curve. And I think you're going to start seeing coming forward that everybody's not going to be made to do the same thing. I don't believe all the states are going to be made to do the same thing. New Hampshire and Montana are reacting different than what a New York or a Los Angeles or a Florida would be handling right now. Within that, the governor might have enough leeway to see what towns are doing better than others. Those of us up north, there's a lot more acreage in between us than down in Nashville. The rules might not be the same. You need to start preparing to open again. And I think it's important, Marianne, that the group that you've established or you have, or that you're a member of, start planning those things. Because what happened the last time we had an event in town, and I believe it was a hurricane. And were you working with us when I brought in the FEMA bus? All right, so that was longer than 6 years ago. We did put a FEMA bus out there. We had this building full of people that were working from FEMA. And when people came in here, they weren't prepared. They didn't know what they lost. They didn't track how much money they had lost during the event. And the other thing that we saw, and after going over thousands of these over the years, I can tell you we can put 20 people in here or 20 businesses in here. They'll put down a dozen things that they felt that they lost. And when they leave, you look at all of them, they should all be pretty similar. And they're not, because they don't share with each other as a group what they're losing right now. And I know, Marianne, back then we didn't have what we have today with the technology of today. You need to start your virtual meetings. And even if you have to have a chair and a treasurer and just schedule more of these meetings, start asking each other what you're losing, because you're going to find out that some people aren't thinking of that. Because when we would call these businesses back and say, well, you know, the businesses to the left of you and the businesses to the right of you lost these three things too, but you didn't put it on your claim, then they'd realize that they just forgot to put it on. Or they didn't realize that it was eligible. So stuff like that, Marianne, if we could just start having those meetings, see how much you're hurting, and then see what your plan's going to be to come back to the government body and ask, what are we going to do about a workforce? Can you get along with a different type of workforce? Can volunteers come in and help man the businesses that aren't going to have a workforce to open? We have a problem in one of the gas stations right now, keeping them open because they don't have the student workforce that they just lost. So if we change just a week from now, we're going to be really weak in that department. We don't have that workforce. And when another age group might step up to the plate, maybe some surrounding towns have more people available that could come to Plymouth to fill in those blanks for now. Or maybe you can start calling employees and make sure they're ready to come back. The other thing, Marianne, we're going to want the businesses to be ready to accept money. We know it's coming. It's not looking like it's coming today. It's still tied up in the House and the Senate. But I would say by tomorrow, it's going to happen. You're going to have over $4 trillion dumped into the money stream. Start thinking about how you need to spend that money when you receive it. Start contacting your senators, your reps, on how you're going to receive it, because that hasn't been determined yet, and it's always different. But you're going to want to know how you're going to receive it and what type of forms they're going to be giving you to fill out to be able to receive it. You don't want to do that a week from now. We can get a lot of things taken care of now before it's available so you can hit the ground running. It seems like towns, countries don't hit the ground running when the event is over. And no, truly, we don't want the cure for the disease to be the death of the town. And I know it's not going to go too long where we can keep businesses closed, because we're entering another whole ballpark of where we've never been before. Can't keep the whole state of New Hampshire closed down forever, We can't keep the country closed down forever. We're gonna have to bite the bullet, and it might be a tourniquet. We might be loosened up slowly, not ripping off the Band-Aid, but the town's gonna have to come back to life. The country's gonna have to come back to life. The money stream's gonna have to start flowing again. Faster we can get businesses open in Plymouth, the faster Plymouth will recover.
Well,
Take this.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Marianne.
So the money stream. So yes, I've been in contact with local businesses. We're actually trying to get a website up right now. We should have it up by tomorrow of, you know, where they are, open, closed, so we can share that with the public, how to connect to them, things like that. So it certainly is available. I agree. We need to have some meetings. We won't be able to do it face to face, but whatever that looks like. But when you mentioned accepting money, how does that, you know, from the government, how is that done, and what do I need to prepare, you know, the other businesses for?
You need to contact, if I may start with Annie Custer,
Okay.
and then see where your reps are at. Bill, I don't know where your senators are at, but they're going to be the first to know, Marianne.
Right. I think they've been in contact with Bill a lot.
Yep. And you two have been chosen to look into things like that and economic development. So that's part of you being the liaison for the town.
Okay.
And like I said, it's different because we've never done anything at this magnitude. That FEMA bus that I told you I was able to get and put outside that time, that's just because it was a New Hampshire event, not a national event. So we don't know what's going to be available, how the money stream is going to hit the states, and then how it's going to be dispersed by the governor or whomever he's delegated, because he's got his hands full. But you want to have those answers so that you can move quickly as a group of businesses on Main Street.
Right. Yeah. The workforce is a interesting question. My shop is okay; they're ready to go because most of them weren't living off-site, but a lot of the local kids come back from college. But that's a good point to the rest of the businesses.
Reason why I say, go ahead. Go ahead, Marianne.
No, I just said that's a very valid question. Yeah, so I've been working with everybody as well as getting out SBA loans and filing for unemployment. So we've been sharing all that information, but it's a very good question, you know, how are they going to ramp up with staff? So I will discuss that with them as well.
Because I would imagine, Marianne, and this is now hitting us at the same time, it must be different when we have a regular year and the students leave during May, and how businesses on Main Street get through the summertime. I have no idea if it's the student population that stays behind. I have no idea if you rotate the students out for another source. But we should start treating that on how you handle the summertime when the students are no longer here. And many businesses are peaking at that time.
Right.
And it just doesn't hurt to start planning as a group of citizens, Marianne. We've got something special going on. We're going to celebrate when this thing is over. Community gardens, you know, they could probably be made, even if it's just for one more year, 4 times bigger than what they are.
Right.
You know, give people things to do now in planning, and it'll take their mind off of the hardship that they're going through. Just a couple of things. I mean, we have the summer carnival all the time. Change the date. Save it for when we can celebrate getting through this. Because this too shall end. We will get through this. Farmers market. We've never had a real good farmers market because we never had a real good location. Well, with everything else out of town and everything else out of the way down that river, it wouldn't hurt to make first of all, the community garden 4 times bigger. And right to the left of that, have a giant farmers market, get some tents down there, 10 by 10, 12 by 10, get some crafts, get the Friends of the Arts, which usually don't get to do any of this until the fall. Do it in the summertime, celebrate surviving this, have fireworks, have vendors down there, Stop creating this, turn this into an event, Mary Ann. You know, it's, have the businesses start thinking about what kind of an event this could be once we get through this. Because it's going to end. As far as businesses, Mary Ann, do you have any questions? Before I go into just the regular homeowners? Does the board have any questions while we're waiting for Mary Ann to come back online?
Yeah, sorry. Bill, can you, my laptop keeps coming in and out. I tried to connect via my phone again, but it says the meeting host will let you in soon. Oh, got it. Thank you.
You all set, Mary Ann?
You got audio?
Okay,
I do have audio.
Okay.
great. Any questions, Mary Ann?
No, how did I get volunteered for this? But no
I volunteered you.
You
I know
put
I
your-
missed that part. Clearly I wasn't.
Last
plugged in.
Monday, you put your hand up when you weren't looking.
I think you all stepped back and left me standing is what happened.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Playing
good
the party.
Bill, you'll be there to help, right?
Yeah, I'll help. We'll all help.
Mary Ann, we'll all be there. The whole board will be there. I'll be there. You've got a 24 emergency management team. There's plenty of us that'll help.
Yeah.
But the businesses have never come together at that type of a group, and you're a very powerful group when you do that.
Right.
There's instructions out there. They will be out there on how to take care of all this. So you need to get a hold of those people down in Concord, get those instructions, and start doing it now. Not when we find out from the governor that we can open up again. Right. Now for the citizens of the town, first thing I'd like to say is practice patience. Don't go down to the recycling center and try kicking in the door because you can't wash your hands. Just curb the patience, curb the anger. It's like I said, we too, employees that are out of work, go to your unemployment offices. There's going to be a stream of money coming there too. You'll survive this. You're home many of you are home with your children now. Schools are closed. I'm getting calls on when schools are going to open again. At our conference call, we had questions about that. We will get a hold of the SAU 48 and make that one of our announcements. Maybe, or Kathy, did you already do that?
I did, and he said they're closed till April 3rd, but that might get pushed out further. So at this point, it's April 3rd.
Which means I can't tell you. But enjoy your kids being home. It's different. No, we haven't had these kind of moments in a long time in our lifetime where it's not a forced vacation. This isn't a forced vacation. But we can delegate our children to do things. Practice safety. Check your fire alarms. Delegate one of your children to be the safety manager within your house. We don't want anybody getting hurt during this type of time, whether it's a cut finger or an infection. Don't need that right now. Snow tonight. Can't believe 6 to 8 inches in April, but that's what's going to happen. Well, with it being 55 tomorrow, I'm sure that snow is going to be able to be made into snowmen. Get out and do that. Get your minds active. Crafts. Be creative. Spring clean now. You're going to be too busy to do your spring cleaning this year if we come out of this right during the springtime. You're going to be concentrating on getting the kids up and going again, getting things that you haven't been able to do for over a month going again. Don't hoard, prepare, but don't hoard. You know, you're not going to be able to return that toilet paper. Stores aren't going to take it back. So whoever took 1,000 rolls of that, you're screwed. You know, enjoy it because you're not going to be able to sell it for more than you bought it either. And I'm not buying toilet paper from somebody on the street. But it truly is anything. Sharpen or replace the blades on your mower. Do all those things now. Easter's coming. You're not going to be able to get together as families maybe still by then. I don't think there's a law that says that everybody in town can't put their Christmas tree lights back up. Put them up. Let them shine. And as a group of citizens and as your emergency manager for now, September's coming, August is coming. Do you know what's coming with that? Hurricane season. This is that double event that I told you we can't survive another double impact to what we're already going through. Should be preparing for hurricane season every year. Prepare now. Once you're done preparing to get through this, get all your preparation done for hurricane season now. We don't have a lot to do now. But get outside, have a campfire. I haven't heard anything being said bad about that yet. As long as you continue to practice social distance, and that includes playing soccer, just use your head on what you're doing. Don't be touching the soccer ball with your hands if you feel you're contaminated. No, but you can kick it all over the yard with your feet. But all these things I'm starting to see happen in the community, you still got to be mindful that you're not keeping the 6 foot distance that's recommended. And if you don't know what that's for, because after 4 feet, the virus gravity sets in and shouldn't reach you. So just be careful. I think you could safely sit around a campfire and keep your distance. I think that's what we have different over Nashua. I think people are actually doing that, but they're not getting sick. We're down in Nashua, when you put 10 people, 20 people in somebody's backyard, they're too close and the numbers are starting to add up. That's about it, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Any questions on?
Zach?
Paul, I've had a couple people ask me about daycares. We've closed our schools. We haven't closed our daycares. What does the governor have any recommendation on that? Do you have any recommendation on
My
that?
opinion?
Your opinion? You're the health officer.
Are they staying 6 feet apart? There's reasons why we're closing down the schools. I don't want to be the one to tell you take this group, this body of little people, and take them out of the school for all these reasons that the school has been briefed on, and then form the same group in another location in town and have the same thing happen. That's why I'm saying when we start to recover from this, do it as if you're releasing that tourniquet. Don't do it all at one time, and don't stop practicing, which got us here, that allows the governor to say, Plymouth, you're doing a good job. We're going to loosen the string a little bit. A little bit. Don't just rip it off like a Band-Aid this time. Do it slowly. But Zach, I don't understand. I can't process in my mind taking a group from over here, and it's not okay for this group to be together over here, and moving it over there. One of the biggest problems that I'm dealing with the young people in town right now, but this is countrywide. You've seen it in Miami yesterday with the mayor. We're having groups gathering on Main Street. 7 got out of a 4-door Silverado to get coffee. You're not going to believe it, but no, the answer was, but it wasn't 10. I'll stop there. You know, I don't think they get to, the 10 isn't a magic number. The 10 is the number that we feel we have to tell people now to be able to come in a building like this and stay 6 feet apart. It's not that easy. We can only fit in another half dozen people. We wouldn't be able to follow that rule in this building. So that's why it went from 50 down to 25 down to 10, because people weren't listening when it was 50. But there may be things that could open up slowly. We might be able to have a movie at the Monkey and put 30 people in there to watch the movie and run it maybe 6 times during the day. But don't put everybody in there at the same time. Let's get back to enjoying life again. And if Alex is allowed to do that and everybody respects what he has to put in place to make it happen, let's respect it. I don't know if that helps you, Zach. That was just my opinion. I wouldn't do it.
So your recommendation would be that people should not be sending their children to daycare?
Yeah, I'll get beat up on that one. I'm just trying to keep the children safe.
I mean, I would tend to agree with you, but I'm not sure that we're hearing. I
You're
believe
hearing
that
mixed-
there are lots of people in town who are still doing that, and lots of
Yep.
people in our community who are still doing that, and I think
So I'm not
making that
enforcing,
statement, I think it helps for people to be encouraged to
Yeah.
not.
and I'm not enforcing any of the above. I'm not on the health side of the ledger, but I do have a concern if they're gonna inundate the hospital to where we start running out of supplies in this town and stuff like that, and then it come on to your side of the ledger. We gotta deal with that. To me personally, if I had a child and I was afraid of him even being in school, and we had those people. We had people that weren't gonna have their kids go to school, even if school hadn't been called off. Well, I don't think any of those people would put their kids inside a daycare type of situation where they're exposed to the same thing. I've heard both sides, I've heard both arguments, but that's in the Board of Health side.
Anyone else?
Is it?
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Ryan will be back Thursday, hopefully.
All right, next up, committee reports. Has anyone been to one of their committees? So no committee reports.
We reached out to CCCC to see if, I don't know how many Cs, three Cs. We reached out to them to see if they were planning to meet, but we haven't heard back.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they'd meet here. At least that would be the plan. And how many people show up with that? Probably like 15, something like that. 10.
CCC meeting.
That's
And
true.
Maybe 10.
People are avoiding going to meetings right now.
Yeah. Well, and actually,
For us.
well, Tom Morrison did put an end to having the public in this building. So, you know, even though we might accommodate maybe like 15 people out there, can't do it. So, anyway, all right. Any public comments? Actually,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Patrice Scott, I'd just like to thank you for making this meeting available in public on television. It's been an interesting experience, and I think people, you know, it's great that you came up with this creative solution to allow your members, Marianne, to be where she is, and people to be at a safe distance while they carry on the public business. So thank you very much, and I'll let you finish your meeting.
All right. Thanks, Patrice. Glad to
All
be
right,
here.
thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Is there
We're off.
the need for a non-public? Is there a motion to go into non-public for what purpose?
Personnel,
Okay. Is that it?
I believe so.
Okay, is there a motion to go into non-public?
Make a motion, we go into non-public session in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, A, personnel.
Okay, is there a second? John made the motion. Yeah, Neil seconded. Now, by roll call, all those in favor say aye. Mary Ann?
She says aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Bill? Aye. Okay, we're in.